Okay, good morning, good afternoon. Hope you're all doing well. Hey Basanta, how you doing? Hey Jimmy. I had a little bit of issue with my restream, but it seems to be working fine now. Alrighty, cool. Give it a minute, just let me check everything. I'm pretty sure you guys can see me okay, hear me alright. Hey Ju Marinas, how you doing? It's all going great. Super. Okay. Alright, cool. Hey Linley. Alright, so we do have tonight at 8:30 p.m. The US non-farm employment change, the NFP, to be released, data released tonight. It is the 5th of July, so anyone who is hung over from the 4th of July celebrations, we do have the NFP tonight. If you are new to the session, do remember to drop a message and say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. And for all the regulars, a big welcome back. It is the end of the week. Hasn't been a huge week, but it's been a good and profitable week for me. I hope it has been for you as well. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. And also, you can help me out by remembering to click on that like, that thumbs up button, and that subscribe button if you haven't already. And the link for the Discord channel is right up there on the chat. If you haven't joined us already, do make sure you join us on Discord. That's where you can take the discussions beyond this stream into through the day on Discord. Okay? And like I was saying yesterday, I do have something very different, or a little bit different for what I'm doing, that I'm going to be releasing and launching next week. So do make sure you are subscribed just so that you get notifications on YouTube about what's going to happen next week. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take a lot of effort, but I'm looking forward to that. So I hope you can join me on that. With all that quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to a financial product. So please remember that your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Good morning, snowflakes. How are you doing? Hey, Diana. Okay. With all that said, what has happened since the last time we spoke? First off, we had the parliamentary elections for the UK. A little bit of a, not much of a surprise, but a bit of a change coming up for the UK. Like I was just saying in the office here with our guys, where the UK is going for another change, changing another prime minister. They change our prime ministers relatively often, relatively quickly, compared to Singapore, right? Definitely compared to Singapore, a lot faster, a lot quicker. But yes, Labour, here we go. Labour has won. There's a political earthquake. Where is it? Exit poll. We have a majority seats. Labour is on course for majority of about 170. Right? They're gonna have Rishi Sunak is out. We have a new guy, can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Labour has won. We haven't seen, but despite that, we haven't seen big changes in price on the pound. We had that consolidation. We were looking for that straddle. It didn't do too much. It just moved around in a zigzag fashion. It popped up slightly, didn't have the big spike up. So no trades triggered on the pound dollar as a result of that parliamentary election from the UK. All right, so that's what's happened. Labour won, new prime minister coming out, didn't affect the pound dollar too much. It's still back, the focus is still switching back to the dollar index again. Why so? It's because Yesterday we had the US on a bank holiday. Today we do have the US average hourly earnings, the US non-farm employment change, and the US unemployment rate to be released. I am slightly torn between the thought or mid-thought that firstly, 4th of July yesterday, we might see a quieter market because it just feels like they might be taking a super long weekend, so might not have that big liquidity coming around, volatility coming around, unless we see a big change in the number here for the non-farm employment change, while we see an upset in unemployment rate. Not expecting much. So that's one thought. That's one train of thought that it might be quiet. It might be no surprises on the data. There might be a quiet market for the long weekend. The other train of thought is that, hey, they had their holiday, they're going to come back with a bang, support the dollar because the dollar is trading lower off or down from that support, trading to the downside, testing or being supported by that round number of 105. We might see them come back with a bit of a bang to try and prop the dollar back up, right? Especially if we see the non-farm come out a little bit higher than expected. Okay, at 190, if we see a 200, 230, we might see it pop back up again. So I'm torn. I'm torn also because with the non-farm employment change number, it could be anything. It could be anything. We had, right? I'm thinking more likely a weaker number, right? Because of JLTS jobs openings, it was revised down from 8.06 to 7.92. Expected 7.96, came out 8.14. Slightly better, but not a big number there. Then on when it closed on Wednesday, we had the ADP non-farm coming out weaker, right? So it was 152, expected 163, so expected a small increase, came out at 150. Again, not a big change, right? It was 152, got revised up to 157. Expected 163, came out 150. Not a huge change there, but we did see that bring some downside to the dollar index. Then fast forward to today, again, we have the non-farm employment change, 272, 190. I'm thinking maybe even 180 to be released, 180, 170, maybe not 170, maybe 180 to be released. Probably not going to have a huge impact, right? Unless we see a better number. So all that uncertainty with the long weekend, with supporting that 105 price level, and with maybe a little bit more of a modest or subdued data release, it could go anywhere. It could go anywhere on the dollar, but I don't think it's going to be that big move. We haven't seen huge moves on the NFP for a very long time. I remember back in the days, years ago, where we would see 100 pip moves on the NFP release. Haven't seen that for a very long time now. So I think that we'll plan it out, but it might be a little bit more of a conservative, bit of a lower volatility moves today. All right. Diana just said it will be a challenge for them. They'll implement tax if you have any assets outside of the UK. You know, the last time they talked about implementing the tax, when was it? Let me see. If I can do a quick search. I think it was it Theresa May or someone else? Just let me check something. When was it? I think it was in 2023. that saw the pound. So I'll show you that. Where was it? Sorry, I'm just digressing now just for that one. For this, just to check it out. That move in 22. So September 22. Let me see. Who was it? I'm just trying to figure out who was it. If you know what happened in September 22, I'm pretty sure it was that one. Yeah, that Friday. I was trading at that. If you remember that, put it into the chat and let me know as well. Just to shortcut my searching. So it was Britain's new finance minister, xauusd, who unleashed historic tax cuts and huge increases in borrowing on Friday, which led to the pound dollar pretty much within the day. This was on Friday, 23rd of September 2022. It went from 1.1266, went down 1.085, right? So within the day on Friday, it went straight down about 420 pips to the downside on the pound dollar. This is one day. This is on daily chart, right? And then on Monday, it continued down from 108.45 to 103.57. So just from that cut decision or the rate change, we saw almost a 900 pip drop on the pound dollar over 2 days. I hope if they're going to do something about rates again, I hope it's, well, I wouldn't say that I hope it doesn't have that impact, but I would say that I hope I'm on the right side of catching that impact, right? I caught, for that move back in September 2022, I caught a little bit, it caught me by surprise as well. I caught a little bit of that move to the downside. If they do the same thing, I'll be looking forward to catching some moves on Liz Truss. Thanks for that, Naren. Yes, you got it spot on. Yes, Liz Truss. Yeah, so I hope if this new guy and his new finance minister does introduce any tax cut or tax hike, I hope I'm on the right side of that with the pound dollar. Okay. Hey Serene, how you doing? Hey Pips Apprentice, how you doing? Okay, caught up with all of that. Now, I digressed and I'm back with it. Together with the US employment numbers, we also have the Canadian unemployment rate and employment change numbers to be released. It doesn't look like it's good news, or it would be good news for the Canadians, because we have unemployment rate looking to go from a 6.2 to a 6.3%, while employment change staying relatively steady from 26.7 to 27.3. So no big change in employment numbers, but unemployment rate possibly increasing slightly. Might see some weakness on the Canadians. Okay. A no live session tonight, no live session on the stream tonight. I'm out. I'm not even trading an NFP tonight. I've got some other events to head out to. So if you missed it, at the end of the session, you can catch the replay. Okay. What else do we have? Not much else. Okay. And then because it is Friday, we'll look into what could happen next week. We have the French parliamentary, well, that's to see whether they're going to get majority or not. Le Pen is expected to fall short of majority. We'll figure that one out, or they'll figure that one out on Sunday over the weekend. Monday, not much. Tuesday night at 10, we have Chair Powell from the Fed on the semi-annual monetary policy report. That's going to have some impact. On Wednesday at 10 a.m., we have the RBNZ with their interest rate decision. We'll look forward to that. You want to trade that together with me? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You'll find out about that. Chair power again on Wednesday evening or night. GDP for the UK on Thursday. And core CPI, CPI month to month, and CPI year on year for the US on Thursday, the 11th of July. 3.3. They're not going to get to that 2% yet, but we want to see some progress towards the 2% number. And then PPI on Friday for the US. Okay, so quite a number of things to look out for next week as well. With that, what you want to look at is the CME Fed Watch 2, where we have a slight change. It was 1 week ago at an 89.7, now it's a 91.2. With an 8.8% chance of a gain. We're moving away from the chance to cut rates on the 31st of July. It looks like it's almost a certainty, almost, not a certainty yet, but almost a certainty that we'll see rates on hold on the 31st of July. Yes, I mentioned about the Bitcoin analysis. It is live on YouTube. It is live. Let me just bring it up. Let me find the fastest way to bring it up. Okay. Oh, it's a slow way, but it's there. I'll put up the link there for you guys as another distraction. Don't watch it now, watch it after the session, but that's the Bitcoin analysis. Hyder's asking a question: why there is 2 CPI year-on-year report for US in July, one on the 11th and one on the 17th. I didn't see the one on the 17th. Let me see. I don't usually plan so far ahead. 17. CPI year on year. I see what you're talking about there. It's released monthly, 16 days after the month ends. So that one is the same one, 16 days. I guess it's the way they count 16 days. I think that's the way they count 16. I didn't notice that until now. Thanks for pointing that out, but I think that it's just the way they count 16 days from the end of the month. I don't know whether it's 16 working days or not, but that's interesting. I've never thought of that. Let me think about that a little bit more before I give you a better answer, Haider, but we'll take it as it comes. We'll take it as it comes. Okay? No worries, Diana. No worries. Okay, so now with that, so the only thing we have to think about for today is the non-farm employment change for the US, the average hourly earnings, the unemployment rate, especially for the US, and then the Canadian numbers, and we'll see how that impacts the major currencies right across the board. Now, looking at this, okay, never mind, I'll do that later. Looking at this, I am dollar index. Okay, like I was saying at the start, this is where I'm very conflicted because today is the 5th of July. All right, we went from Independence Day to NFP Day. Now it is sitting at that 61.8 level. Okay, we can take that one away. We'll push this down, catching that point and this point, take it away, and that. Right. I'll take that away for now. Okay, I'm happy with those. You just get a bigger picture. What if, I'm just testing this for now. What if I did that? We would see 50 right about there. No, so that's broken. We don't need that one. Okay, so sitting right there. I don't actually feel that this trend line is doing too much. I don't really need that. We have a big support down there. Okay, that's a support turned resistance. I don't need that. I want that as my round number support level. Okay, bear with me. I am moving things around a little bit. Just want to analyze this together with you guys. Take that away for now. Push that up. Put that as a support of at 105, and that's a bit of a swing level point. Now, if we look at this down, see if that makes sense here. So catch this point here. Okay, there we go. So now I'm looking at this on the dollar index, thinking about the non-farm employment change number. It seems like, well, I'm expecting a bit of a weaker number. Right, we had very strong numbers. We had a drop in May and then a big quick recovery again. Not ruling out the idea that it could be stronger. On the 7th of June, we saw that big strong number and you saw the dollar push. Right, so this was the Friday. We saw that 272. We saw the dollar push up. I'm tempted to think that the dollar could push down, but it is right at this level here that you got to be very careful because of that 61.8 and that support area that we've seen there. Right. Okay, so now with this, looking at the dollar index, we're looking at if NFP, well, it's consolidating on 105 support. If NFP is weaker, could trade down to 104.65. Right? Stronger NFP DXY needs to break 105.25 before considered bullish. There we go. Okay, so it's gonna sit there. It's sitting there right now. I think it's gonna continue sitting there for up to the news. Might push up a little bit, but I think it's gonna sit there. If it does spike up, I wouldn't be ready to rush into it unless it breaks above that 23.6 level. Then we might consider a more sustained push to the upside, right? Especially in that area, especially that previous swing level as well. So we want to break those levels before we can anticipate a more sustained push to the upside, right? But I think more likely, if we see a weaker number, we're going to see it push down firstly to that 104.65. I don't think, unless it's a terrible number, I don't think we're going to see it get to that 104 round number. It's a huge move. I don't think so, but can't rule it out. Right, the last time it did go from 104 up to pretty much 105, almost 105. Dinah said, as technical analysis, it shows more down on daily time frame, but we have a news today. Anything can happen. Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen. We're kind of taking our best guess from what we have here. Okay, so that is what I'm looking at. Consolidating. If NFP is weaker, could push down towards 104.65 and maybe even beyond. Stronger NFP, dollar index needs to break 105.25 before we can consider it being bullish. I might even think that it's 105.40. I prefer 40. Then with that, we look at the Kiwi, right? Bullish, we had that. So that's, I don't know whether that's a pattern. So that didn't trigger, we'll take that away first. That's pushing up. I'm actually now, if the dollar does weaken, 38.2 is done. If it does weaken, you would be looking for that point. Actually, no. 50 is there, but you'll be looking for it to break that 6145 level before we look for a push to the upside. I would like it down, but I don't see that pushing up. It's sitting right there, so I'm thinking it's going to push along and push up on dollar weakness scenario. Break above 6150, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 60 to the upside. Okay, so I'm looking at that one on dollar strength, dollar weakness. We're looking to buy at 0.6150, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the upside, and that's on DXY weakness. Okay, I'm happy with that. Then I'll keep this. But I'll look at a possible, a bit of a push to the upside, 6, 7. So on dollar strength, we've seen it come up, we've seen it test that resistance. I'm looking for that breakdown. Again, I don't need this point. I need that to break the resistance turned support. Looking at that short-term bullish breakdown, I wouldn't want to rush into it. I feel that 0.6700 will be good. Stop loss, if it does push down, stop loss will be 20. Take profit will be 75 to the downside. I like that one. So it's an alternate scenario. We have this tighter at 20 to 75. Again, go back. Okay, so we have that as 20 to 75. This is if we see that DXY strength. Okay, so we're filtering it down. We know that if it breaks down, we could be looking to sell the Kiwi. If it pushes to the upside, if it breaks down, we could be looking to buy the Kiwi, pardon me. Buy the Kiwi. If it pushes to the upside, we'll be looking to sell the Aussie down. That's all set up nicely. You probably would have a question is, can we buy the Aussie up? You could as well, but then you might end up having too many things to look at. You know, if it pushes up, I would say look at a Kiwi or look at an Aussie, then you split it that way. I do see that bullish flag. That's why I was also thinking that way. But I like that reaction. I like how it has been doing. So I'm just trying to see if it's going to bounce. If that's going to bounce off this level, then we could see a rejection back down. So I'll keep those separate between the Kiwi and the Aussie. The yen, right? I had this removed, so I had my level there at 160.40. And when it dropped this morning, I was looking at this, I don't want to get in. I don't want to be caught in this trade before the news with no intervention. So I removed that sell order on my US yen, right? But you're seeing now as well that it's finding that 23.6 level, and more specifically it's tested and it shows like it's trying to bounce off this 23.6 level. And if you apply my fast MACD to that, you see that it is also trying to looking like it's going to cross over to push to the upside. Yes, again, there is a news coming out. We cannot just base it on technical indicators, but that's showing you a little bit of an idea there. Now, if you look at this, we can push this down. We have the round number level at 6.1. You could, on dollar strength, I'll be very careful to try and sell it down. Although it might be a good opportunity, I think that we're looking at it. Hey Jordan, how are you doing? It has been a long time. Happy 4th of July. 161.15, stop loss 30, take profit 80 to the upside. Right, on dollar strength. On dollar strength, you'll be looking at that. It is now a resistance. Nice round number. We look for a break to the upside, especially if that 23.6 holds. Okay, so 161.15, 30 to 80. It's done that range. We're looking to buy at 161.15, stop loss 30, take profit 80 to the upside on DXY strength scenario. Okay. Then on to the pound dollar. Straddle didn't work out or hasn't triggered anything. Take all that away for now. Right, and you can see that it's pretty much still within that range. It's still within the area, and you can also see this playing out. So that's that push up, and then we have that happening for us. Right, we have that happening for us as well. Even if I didn't take that whole thing, you can see that pulling out. So that's happening on the pound dollar. I would actually be thinking here that when you compare the pound and the euro is pushing, looking like it's pushing to the upside. So I'll talk about that next up. I'll be reserving that for the upside move on a dollar weakness scenario. It is still climbing. I know Basanta probably got onto the euro. It happened a little bit too late for me, so I did not catch this move on the euro. But on the pound, I'm looking at that as it pushes up, and it seems to be struggling a little bit, right? If the pound dollar Okay, if the pound dollar stays below it's right there. Okay, so it's right there. 1.28. You could trade it up still, but I feel like it's gonna push up slowly. Right? It's gonna push up slowly, and then we could see it turn back down. See, if we didn't have the news, right? If we did not have an NFP coming out, I would say, yep, look to get in 1.2780. Stop loss will be 20 pips. Take profit, we could go up to 70 to the upside. But we do have the NFP coming out, so I feel like as much as it could push up, if the dollar does gain that strength, so I'm looking for it to test and then reject that way. So in the meantime, push up, climb up, test 1.28, and then I'll be on the dollar strength scenario, look to sell it down 1.2790, stop loss 20, take profit. I would come down to right there first off. Should be about 55 to the downside. Right, I'll be looking at that on the pound dollar on dollar strength scenario. So that straddle didn't happen, take that away. Now we're looking to sell at 1.2790, stop loss 20, take profit 55 to the downside on DXY strength. Right, climb up now to 830, maybe a stronger dollar index, and then we'll see that push down. Then onto euro, it is to push up. Is there news happening now? Is there anything coming out? Let's see. Nothing, but we are seeing the euro push to the upside. If you got onto that, hold on to it. You could go to break even on that to let it ride up. I'm looking for that to push up to the upside. Right? Also because if you look at that, you see that it's starting to have a bit of a crossover to push up. So I'm actually thinking of the euro. Small move. Hang on, let me just check. There's a resistance there. I don't need that point. Break above, we see that. Okay. I have this point here at 108.50. Good with that. Okay. So what I'm looking for here is that as it pushes up, right, you can see that it's climbing steadily to the upside. If you haven't, with the entry that we had from yesterday, if you didn't get into that, then don't get in yet, because if you get in there, your stop loss is going to be about anywhere between 25 to 30 pips. Actually, that could work out. Hour close, Bollinger. Hour close. If it stays around there, 25. This could be a early move to 70, 65 to the upside. Okay, no. I'll tell you what I'm looking for here on the euro is a slight retrace. I'm looking for it to sit there, right, or push up slightly in that area. I'll be looking to buy it up. But the best setup that I'll be looking for would be for it to push up, right? Don't do anything yet. Sit out, wait for it. Get past 108.50, then look to get in 108. 55, 108.60. Stop loss tight, no more than 20 pips. Take profit, you have it almost at 1:1 at, no, 1:2 at a resistance, but I think that if we see the dollar push up, you could have a good 55 pip that way. Okay, so don't get in, rush in yet, let it climb up. You could do a short-term trade up, but an H1 kind of setup, look for it to break above 108.50, 108.60, 1.0860, 20 pips to 55. If it pushes up, then you can even drag it further to the upside. Okay, so I'll look for that one. All good so far. If it makes sense to you, please let me know. 1.0850, stop loss 20, take profit 55. We talked about the hesitation at 108.50 as well yesterday. Okay. Hey, Noah Chuku, how you doing? That showing a bit of a break, but still too early to tell. Then onto the US Swiss franc, it's pushing to the downside. Right, if you didn't get into that, then it's broken that trend line. Again, I don't think this trend line is going to do too much, but take it away. 38. Let it sit there. Yep, that makes sense. It's going to sit there. So like the dollar index, it is sitting in a bit of a consolidation, looking like it's trying to push down. If you didn't get into the trade we spoke about yesterday, then you're looking at 38.2, that level there, looking for it to break. Then you'll be looking to sell down at 8960. Stop loss would be no more than, I think 20 even seems a bit generous. Right, you could do even 15 as it pushes down. Hang on a second. And then you have a 60 pip take profit. So on a US Swiss franc, we'll be looking for it to break below that little consolidation, that 38.2 level to the downside. You'll be looking at 8960, 20 to 60 to the downside. 8960, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the downside on DXY weakness. Then onto the USCAD. Right, it's pushed down. We've seen that push down. It's testing this support. You see that point there. It's a bit of an area. And in fact, if I drew this right across, there's a whole support area there. It's in the support. I'm still looking for it to bounce. Remember, we were talking about possible weakness on the Canadian dollar. So I'm looking at 1.3630. 1.3625. I'll be looking at 1.3625 because I'm also thinking that this is a nice round number right there that might form a bit of that, add to that support. So looking for it to sit here, consolidate, weak CAD data pushing it up, maybe stronger dollar supporting that push to the upside. We're looking at that bounce. So you're looking at 1.3625, 25 to 75 to the up. upside. Okay, so we're looking to buy at 1.3625, 25 to 75. To 75. This one we're looking at the XY strength, and well, no, we're looking at, firstly you want to see that CAD weakness, then you'll be looking for that DXY strength to support the move to the upside. Okay. Okay, I like that. Then onto gold. Pushing up. We spoke about this yesterday. We said break above 2370 to get to 2390. It's gone to sit there just below that 2370 level to push. Didn't break above that previous high level to push up. Now it looks like it's trying again. I'll maintain that, but what you want to see here is also that it should be supported with a DXY weakness. Support that push up. Okay, the more I look at this, the less likely I think we could see that bounce. The more I look at this, I think that it's more likely to push down. But again, NFP, anything can happen. Some of it can play out. I mean, you could be trading the Aussie to the upside as well, right? Big upside there, but there are going to be some levels in the middle. US yen will be tricky, right? US yen will be tricky. I think the easiest one would be look to buy it up. If it drops, it'll be tricky to sell it because it could just turn quite quickly. It's still a massive uptrend so far. Okay. Kiwi, yeah, still sitting there. All right, so as we were saying, no big trades for now. It is a couple of hours to the news. It's actually, usually it sits. Ooh, what happened there? Why did it disappear? Usually it sits in a straight across fashion. I think that it's pushing up a little bit now. Dollar index is sitting right there, so don't feel like you have to rush into any trades at this point in time. Wait for the news, look at the news, see how price is reacting to the news before you get into any trades. Okay, so please remember, trade well, trade safe, have a fantastic weekend ahead. We're gonna do something different from Monday onwards. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Take care now. Bye-bye.